Have you ever wondered how a single man could have such an enormous impact on the world, for better or worse? This question brings us to the enigma of Adolf Hitler, a man whose influence on the 20th century world is beyond measure. Born in a small Austrian town in 1889, Hitler's early life was a blend of struggle and ambition. His father, Alois Hitler, was a stern and volatile man, while his mother, Clara Hitler, was gentle and nurturing. From his parents, Hitler inherited a mix of determination, resentment, and aspiration. As a young man, Hitler dreamed of becoming a painter. However, his dreams were thwarted by his father's disapproval and the harsh reality of life. After his father's death, Hitler moved to Vienna, where he developed a deep-seated hatred for the city's cosmopolitan society and a growing belief in German nationalism. During World War I, Hitler served as a messenger on the Western Front and was decorated for bravery. The war's end left him disillusioned and bitter. Germany's defeat and the subsequent Treaty of Versailles fueled Hitler's anger and resentment towards the Weimar Republic, and the alleged international conspiracy he believed to be responsible for Germany's plight. In the aftermath of the war, Hitler joined a small political group, the German Workers' Party, which would later evolve into the National Socialist German Workers' Party, more commonly known as the Nazi Party. Hitler's charismatic speeches and propaganda skills quickly propelled him to the forefront of the party. His vision of a racially pure and dominant Germany resonated with many Germans, still nursing wounds from the war and the Treaty of Versailles. It was in this turbulent post-war period that Hitler began his ascent to power, exploiting the economic turmoil and political instability of Weimar Germany. His charismatic leadership, combined with his vision of a powerful, unified Germany, laid the foundation for one of the most infamous political regimes in history. Join us as we delve into the life of Adolf Hitler and the rise of his nascent party. We'll explore how this man, born in obscurity, managed to seize control of Germany and plunge the world into a Second World War. In the aftermath of World War I, a disillusioned soldier found a new purpose. This man was Adolf Hitler, born in Braunau am Inn, Austria, in 1889. As a young boy, Hitler had dreams of becoming an artist, a dream his father vehemently opposed. However, life had other plans for young Adolf. When World War I broke out, Hitler enlisted in the German army. He served with distinction, earning the Iron Cross for bravery. But the end of the war brought disillusionment. The Treaty of Versailles, which ended the war, imposed heavy penalties on Germany, fostering resentment and anger. Hitler, like many others, felt betrayed by the German leadership. After the war, Hitler found himself in Munich, a city ripe with political unrest. There, he discovered the German Workers' Party, a small political group whose nationalist and anti-Semitic ideologies resonated with his own beliefs. Hitler joined the party and quickly ascended its ranks with his charismatic speeches and captivating personality. In 1920, the party was renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazi Party, as it would come to be known internationally. Hitler's vision for the party was clear: to create a pure Aryan state, free of Jews and other groups he deemed undesirable. His fervor and charisma drew thousands to the party, and his message of German supremacy and anti-Semitism found a willing audience in a nation struggling to find its identity. With his fiery speeches and promises of a better future, Hitler began to amass a following. He skillfully exploited the economic turmoil and social unrest of the time, positioning himself as the only one capable of restoring Germany's former glory. The Nazi Party grew in strength and influence, and Hitler's dream of leading a reborn Germany was beginning to take shape. Little did the world know this former soldier was about to change history. This man, once a struggling artist and a disillusioned soldier, would soon rise to become one of history's most infamous dictators, steering the world into the chaos of World War II. From its humble beginnings, the Nazi Party would soon command the attention of an entire nation. In the turmoil of post-World War I Germany, a small political group known as the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazi Party, began to gain traction. At the helm was a charismatic yet deeply troubled man named Adolf Hitler. Hitler's fiery speeches and promises of a brighter future resonated with many Germans who were disillusioned by the economic hardship and political instability of the Weimar Republic. The Nazi Party's ideology was a toxic brew of extreme nationalism, racial purity, and anti-Semitism. They promised to restore Germany's former glory by eliminating perceived threats and enemies both within and outside the country's borders. This ideology, as horrific as it was, appealed to many Germans who were desperate for change and a return to national pride. The growth of the Nazi Party was not just due to Hitler's charismatic leadership and the appeal of their ideology. There were other factors at play. The Treaty of Versailles, which ended World War I, had imposed harsh reparations on Germany, leading to economic hardship and fostering resentment among the populace. This resentment was expertly exploited by the Nazi Party to increase their support base. Additionally, the global economic depression in the late 20s further destabilized the Weimar Republic and created fertile ground for the Nazis' rise. The party promised economic stability and jobs, winning over the middle class, and those hit hardest by the economic downturn. By the early 30s, the Nazi Party had become a significant political force. They used propaganda, intimidation, and violence to suppress opposition and consolidate their power. The democratic institutions of the Weimar Republic were gradually eroded, and by 1933, Hitler had become Chancellor of Germany. The rapid rise of the Nazi Party under Hitler's leadership was a combination of exploiting existing resentments, promising change, and ruthlessly suppressing any opposition. The stage was set for one of the darkest chapters in human history. Hitler's rise to power was not merely a political shift, but a complete alteration of the German societal landscape. Adolf Hitler, by the time he assumed power, had already set in motion a grand plan to restructure the very fabric of German society. His policies, crafted with a keen understanding of the German psyche, aimed at consolidating his power and furthering his ideological agenda. One such policy was the Gleichschaltung, or coordination, which sought to bring all aspects of life under the control of the Nazi Party. From the arts to education, from religion to law, nothing was exempt. The concept of Volksgemeinschaft, the people's community, was propagated. This was a vision of a racially pure, harmonious society, united under the banner of National Socialism. Hitler's propaganda machine, led by the cunning Joseph Goebbels, played a crucial role in manipulating the sentiments of the German people. Through carefully crafted speeches, radio broadcasts, and films, the Nazi Party fed the public a steady diet of their ideology, evoking a sense of national pride and unity that resonated with the disillusioned masses. As Hitler's power grew, so did his ambition. The Enabling Act of 1933 gave him the legal authority to enact laws without the involvement of the Reichstag. The Night of the Long Knives, a purge of his potential rivals within the Nazi Party, further solidified his position. Yet Hitler's true power lay not in his policies or his political maneuvering, but in his ability to tap into the fears, hopes, and dreams of the German people. By exploiting their insecurities and their desire for a strong, united Germany, Hitler was able to turn a nation towards his vision of a 1,000-year Reich. Hitler's rise was a chilling demonstration of how a charismatic leader can seize control of a society, manipulate its people, and bend it to his will. A society that once prided itself on its culture and intellect was transformed into a totalitarian state, its people blindly following a leader who promised them greatness, but led them to ruin. Through cunning and manipulation, Hitler had become Germany's absolute ruler. As we reflect on Hitler's life and the rise of his nascent party, we find ourselves confronted with a series of uncomfortable truths. As we journeyed through the enigmatic life of Adolf Hitler, from his early days to his rise as a dictator, we've grappled with the complexities of his personality and the chilling effectiveness of his leadership. We saw a man rise from obscurity, harness the power of a frustrated populace, and birth a party that would reshape the world in terrifying ways. We ventured into the cradle of the Nazi Party, born out of the ashes of the First World War, fueled by nationalist sentiment and a profound sense of injustice. Its rise was not an accident, but a carefully orchestrated symphony of propaganda, manipulation, and fear. We then bore witness to the dictator in power, a man whose iron will and unyielding ambition led to some of the darkest chapters in human history. His reign was marked by an unprecedented level of control and conformity, a chilling testament to the power of ideological manipulation. These reflections lead us to a series of conclusions that, while uncomfortable, are crucial for our understanding of history. Hitler and his party were not anomalies but products of their time. They capitalized on existing sentiments, amplified them, and used them as a vehicle for their destructive agenda. The lessons from this period in history are manifold. We learn about the dangers of unchecked ambition, the seductive power of propaganda, and the devastating consequences of blind conformity. More than anything, we learn about the importance of critical thinking, of questioning authority, and of standing up against injustice. We must remember these events not just as a dark chapter in our past, but as a stark warning for the future. The forces that allowed for the rise of Hitler and his party are not confined to a single era or location. They are ever present, lurking in the shadows, ready to emerge when given the chance. And so, we are left with the chilling reminder of the power of a single individual and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition.